Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at Dionysia. Now, this is going to be a two-player game by Button Shy Games, and this is going to be a prototype. So when we go down to the table here, everything's subject to change. So the art, the text, the rules on here. But this should give you a general idea how to play a game and see if it's for you. Now, in this game, you're going to be trying to produce the best theatrical performance to try to gain the favor of the gods. So let's go ahead down the table here. I'm going to show you how to play Dionysia, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to give you my final thoughts. All right, so this is Dionysia. Now, Dionysia is going to be a grand theatrical festival to honor the god Dionysus, impress the crowds with your well-crafted drama to win the playwright competition as well as the favor of the gods. To start this game, you're going to shuffle up this deck here. You're going to deal out 3 cards here face up, and then you're going to hand the deck out to whoever you want to have the first player. Now, this is a 2-player game, so between the 2 of you, you can do a roll-off or whatever you want to do if you can't decide, but that first player is going to get the deck here. Now, you're also going to need to make a 3x3 space available for you for your play that you're going to be doing. So make sure you have enough area for your little tableau. Now, the gameplay for this, over the course of 9 rounds, each player creates a 3-act tragedy. Each act consists of a partially overlapping stack of 3 scenes, including a key scene, which is the top card, and the elements of the other 2 scenes underneath it. Now, when you take your turn, each round, starting with an active player, each player chooses 1 scene from the stage and adds it to their play. Each scene may be placed up to 3 different ways. Now, when you're starting out and you grab your first scene, you're going to have to say which act you're going to put it in because you're starting your act there. So I say I'll put this in Act 1 or Act 2 or Act 3. After that, when you place them, if they're not adjacent to something, then you'll have to still announce what act it's going to go into. Whenever you have a completely facing card or you have it on the top here, it's going to be considered your key scene for that. And then if you have an action, which some of them just have scoring here. So this one has endgame scoring plus the pattern that you're supposed to meet. But some of them have instant effects here, like view the top 2 cards of the deck and return 1 to the top and 1 to the bottom of the deck. So when I place this here, it's completely visible, so I'll be able to look at the top 2 cards of the deck here, and I can place one of these 2 on top and 1 on bottom, so I can sort of rig it for next time. So that's what's happened whenever you do that. The other things that you can do is you can upstage a scene. So if I pick one of these, I could place it on top. And if it had an effect to fire off, that effect would fire off. Now look that I'm making these patterns here, because a lot of these cards are going to require patterns for your scoring at the end of the game, and that's what really matters. You're trying to get the highest score. So this one's looking for a skull and 2 of these swords. So you're going to be trying to figure out how you're doing your patterns for. So if I said this was Act 2, this might be really good, because then I could put some swords over here and make that work. The other thing you can do is you can downplay a scene. So I could place a scene underneath the stack here. So those are the 3 different ways that you can place a card out. But remember, so if I had it here and I said this was Act 1 for some reason, and I placed this one I wanted to be Act 3 and I'm not placing adjacent to it, I would need to say this is Act 3. But after you got your 3, after you start placing these beside each other, everyone knows what acts you're doing. All right, so we know what we're going to be doing with this now. How does the round end? Well, the round ends when everyone has picked up their scene. So there'll be 1 left over. Then, if it's not the end of the 9th round where we go to scoring, the player here is going to, the active player is going to hand the deck over to the other player, and they'll become the active player. That player is going to place out 2 more scenes and be the first to pick one. Now we're going to continue on doing this until we get to the 9th scene. Now, a couple things here before we jump into scoring here is you have the key scene effects. So you have instant effects and scoring effects. Now I did briefly mention this, but these, see I have this little symbol up here? That's going to be an instant effect. And when you place this on top of your one of the 3 acts, so this has to be the top card, so it would have to be the key scene, you'll be able to do that effect. If you tuck it under another card, it's not going to trigger anything. So keep that in mind. The other thing that you're going to have in here is going to be scoring effects. These scoring effects, like here, if you score each of your patterns of at least one, so you get 4 points if you can do that. So you'll have 3 different patterns that you're going to be scoring because you'll have 3 different acts. Now, if we go into scoring here, we'll randomly set one up here. So this won't be the best way of scoring ever. But you'll have 9 cards on your table here. Here, at least have one of these randomly work. All right. Now, this might be what an end scene here looks like. Each player is going to tally up the favor from the 3 key scenes of their play, scoring effects and earning favor if their conditions are met. Each pattern earns the favor shown for each instance found anywhere in the play. Patterns must run left to right, or top to bottom, so top to bottom here, and they may span multiple acts. A single element may be used to score multiple instances, which is going to be very important. So that means that if I had somehow had, let's say, see if I can make up a good thing. Okay, it's like this one, that's just looking for swords. So if I had something like this going, and I wanted to have 3 swords here, I could score these 3 swords, then I can score these 3 swords. So I would get 2 points for that. So I can have overlapping scoring, not identical, but overlapping. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, great. So that will give me 2 points. And then I also score these. And you want to try to do these left to right and write them down. So here, if an act has no skulls, I gain 3 points. So if I didn't have that here, well, I needed that for the other example. But if I had that like this, let's say, I would get 3 points for this, and I get 1 point because I have the chalice and the 2 swords. I believe that's the only way where I got them going. And this one here, so I had 4 points so far. This one here gave me 2 points, so that would give me 6 points. And this says, if this act is the key scene, I would gain another 2 points. Now this one here, if every act has a sword, for every sword in Act 2, so I would gain 1, 2, 3, 4 more points for that. And then I would be looking for 2 chalices and a sword to gain points on that, and 1 point each. You would tally up those points, and the person with the most points will win the game. And if there's a tie, the player who played last will win. So that is how to play Dionysia in a nutshell. Let's go ahead back up to the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on this game. All right, so that was Dionysia. So this is going to be good component quality. Every Button Shy game has the same really great card quality for it. So even though this is a prototype, I know that when they come out with this will have a great card quality in here, which is good because that's the whole game. It's going to be an 18 card game with a really cool wallet that it comes in. Now, so that's component quality. Now, gameplay for this is a really cool 2-player push and pull game. There's a lot that you have to think about when you're playing this game. You need to not be completely obvious on what you're trying to do for your strategy for scoring, because your opponent's going to be very vested in watching what you're doing and which cards you're picking up. You can also, if you get in trouble there later on, like your opponent does mess you up, a lot of those cards have actions, so you may want to consider those to move stuff around to regain some of your scoring or even score better potentially. or even trick your opponent because you know that card's been out for a while, but you're using that hoping they don't pick it up so that you can readjust your scoring so you can get even more points without them knowing. Really neat drafting sort of mechanism in this game where you're going to be drafting 2 of them each round, but one of them gets left over. So it brings a little tension to the game on, you know, when someone's going to grab that card that's been sitting around for a while, because people can plan off of that. So I really like that. This game here is definitely a game that is fun to play at the end of the day. Here you can jump down and just play it 2-player and have a great time. Very highly portable, very easy to teach. This bunch gets into a good line of games that are incredibly easy to teach, but really have a lot of depth to them, and this is going to fall under that. They have like a Simply Solo line. I don't think they have like a Simply Other line, but basically the idea is the same. Really easy to teach, but has a lot of depth to it, and this does. Again, this is a prototype, so the art that you saw and the rules can be subject to change, but in the end, that should give you a general idea how to play Dionysia and see if that's for you. But my thoughts are, I like this game a lot. If you're looking for a good light 2-player game that's easy to teach but yet has a lot of different strategy for it, this game is going to probably be up your alley. But other than that, if you like what we do, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out a lot. It lets us get more content out to you guys, lets us get better equipment, and all that fun stuff. But either way, I hope you all have a great day, and thank you for watching.